Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time we pursued the line of reasoning like, hey, what if the people on the omnibus couldn't have possibly seen the moment of the crime, you know? So here we are, now we're being asked, the person who was occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was... Now, I was a bit confused about this one at first, at the end of the last one. I didn't really understand, like, who it could have possibly been. But after, you know, mulling it over for a bit now, I think I understand what we're gonna, or where this line of reasoning is gonna take us. I think the only logical reasoning to take is that it was Mr. McGilded himself, right? Because if they saw the moment, if they did see, yeah, what am I trying to say? If they did like presume to see the moment of the crime, then it couldn't have been Magnus McGilded, assuming, of course, we're innocent. He's innocent here. So I'm gonna go ahead and present him. I'm pretty sure I did not explain that the best as I could have, but the logic is sound, you know. Basically, the person they did see was not actually the defendant. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant. It's because someone else was sitting next to the victim. Oh my goodness! He just threw that wine bottle into the fire and it exploded. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Lord of Adzix! People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which the case is built. But what if that was not the case? But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency? Why can't I say that? What inconsistency, counsel? The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim. That was also a big part of the last episode too, I forgot to mention. They kept insisting that they saw blood on both gloves, despite the evidence. Yeah, we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains. The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, their testimony remains unchanged. Exactly, they both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on the passenger's hands, both of them. Objection. And who was this third party? I don't know. Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary! Order, order, order! What exactly are you postulating? Objection. The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused. No, they didn't. They couldn't see their face. But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. Tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. But what particular styles of hats did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter? That's embarrassing. The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be so sure? Because if there had been, the accused Mr. McGilda would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact he was asleep, though! Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled? Ah! Perhaps we should just ask him. Maybe he'll give us more information. He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilda would have been unaware of it. Order! There's clearly a simple solution to this problem. Ask the man. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilda, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? Well, he can just say he'll lie about it. As a suspect, he will already have made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilda is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilda to testify or not? Absolutely get his testimony. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. Don't raise your hand, my dude. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilda to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Ah, yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilda has to say. Get the man out here, I say! It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild. Hearing what the patron, my favorite little park, has to say, oh yes, that would be lovely. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. I'm pretty sure he said he was just asleep though, wasn't he? And he woke up to like the guy bleeding out, and that's why he put his hands on him. Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilda, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? Begad, no! 'Tis not in my nature to hide anything at all. I cannot do a good European accent for him. All my European accents just blend together. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you all, or keep me mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilda? Well, I killed that man, of course. Oh, well, I shouldn't have said that. The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. Ooh. It's true. Aye, it was me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. What? Excuse me, what? What? You... What? Why would... Why... that makes no sense at all. No. Magnus McGilded? That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so I am Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, not in any way involved. It was a child. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like meself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who was this young child of whom you speak? I'm very interested by this. A child who supposedly committed murder. That I don't know. You don't know? Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw it before or since. Objection! Yeah, but he's gonna say the carriage driver would have known about her. We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Bang! What? What just happened? Ah, smoke! Ah! Fire! There's a fire! Look, someone's trying to get away! After him! It's no use! Can't see anything with all this smoke. What is going on? And there was a lot of dialogue there to go through. Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo! Cover your face! Bailiff, don't let the accused escape! Secure the omnibus! Secure the omnibus? How is he gonna get out of here? I hereby call an emergency recess! Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Oh, the to be continued! I mean, I wasn't very close to it. Alright, yeah, let's just save. If I was like 2 minutes away from a to be continued, I would have been upset. But yeah, that was like 12 minutes. That's not bad. 18th of February, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber. I'm super curious what the heck just happened there. I imagine that was the child setting that off. Smoke bombs or whatever it was. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I managed to find out what happened. Oh, wasn't that convenient? Mr. Sato, I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. Oh, it's not a child, it's a teenager. A young girl. Then could it be the other passenger Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly! So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about. But he's not here! I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions. Along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? What was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? I was just gonna say, why would she be here? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. Oh, I mean, yeah, that's true, right? If there was a fifth passenger, surely the driver would have charged her. And also, like, would have known that there was another person there. According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems that there were in fact 5 passengers. Which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will commence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. I also think that it's much more likely that a 15-year-old girl would have been able to stash herself away in the little cubby underneath the seats. So therefore she was hidden. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. Yes! It's kind of scary to think that this girl just like climbed out of the little cubby. This is just my current theory, that she just climbed out of the cubby and murdered someone, and then slipped back into the cubby until like they were done searching it or whatever, and escaped. No, I guess Mr. McGill helped her escape. That's right. Oh, who is that? Oh, that's her. Duh. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. You're gonna fall under so much suspicion for throwing a gosh dang smoke grenade into the courtroom. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies a stand. Your name, girl? Why were you here? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? Speak! Ahem, if I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded? I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You'll explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. He's gonna say she's not. Because what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. I'm definitely excited to see this. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. The back seats? That doesn't sit right with me. Because the back seat is the one that's obscured from view. The begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me with the fair start. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. Hiding herself away? Elaborate, please. I remained somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct? This is exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord. But no one else saw her? Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. I love that animation of him like turning towards the camera. And his mouth is just open. He's like, I don't know. Hang on, let me review what we have in the court record here. Let me just double check this. If he's in the back seat, Surely, like, they could tell that it was a man in a top hat versus a girl in whatever this is. Can I not pan over to her? I guess I don't have the option of panning over to her. It's kind of weird. I guess I'm just gonna press, because I don't see anything wrong. Or I don't have anything in evidence that could say otherwise. And when you first got into the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were. I see. Aye, and that's why I took the back side as I did. Tis the most comfortable, so it is. I totally agree. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seats? Yeah, you see, when I'm like traveling in like a car, or I guess I should say a train, because I sometimes ride the train. There are seats that face, you know, in the direction of travel, and some that face in the opposite direction. I think it's more comfortable to be seated forward, like in the direction of travel, like you're facing the direction of travel. That's just my preference, though. I'm definitely like, it's not a huge difference, but I definitely prefer it. Can you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, just how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite, the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, it is the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylights from time to time as well. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with the back seat, because you can see through the skylight regardless. There, Bagora, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fast start. A loud thud, you say? And a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed? Well, now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say... And when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see any... Well, didn't you just say that the girl was with you? But at the same moment you did hear a scream? Oh, for the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. How can you say that there's no one in the cabin in that statement, and then immediately say that there's a person next to you? That doesn't make sense to me. There's a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. You sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. You could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. You wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Alright, Lord Van Zeeks. Now why would that be? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Wow, he's calling you not upstanding. Are you gonna take that? Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest? Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting that you're just gonna leave the man there? Heavens alive, no! I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only I had in mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are! There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Why didn't anyone else hear the scream either? Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? Seriously, how do you not notice this person? I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself, and I was just saying that! So I did, sir, so I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing, the wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Oh, she was in the... That's where the little cubby was. It was underneath that seat. Good gracious! Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? I did, I already looked at that. Yes, of course, the whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around it. So I did! And that's when I found her. There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. Hold it! You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. 'Twas hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, me heart nearly stopped beating in me chest. So why was she hiding inside the thing? That's definitely strange. Oh, you're really overacting this. Still in all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her. The seat opposite? That's right, just next to the dead gentleman. Okay then. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir? That's very strange. Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. Yeah, but why didn't you sit her next to you? Why did you sit her next to the corpse? That's weird. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right, you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilden. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Aye, my lord. I was, as I take everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage, out of sight. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl. Yeah, but their hats are so different, right? Like, they're both short people, but come on. Come on. After that, of course, with this scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Okay, so it seems like I was supposed to press everything there. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. Is it, or is that Gina? Gina Lestrade. Lestrade. Gina Lestrade. Gina Lestrade. Gina Lestrade. Gina Lestrade. Gina. I don't see a pun here. Gina Lestrade. Get in Lestrade. Maybe it's like get in the Strad. Get in the Lestrade. I feel like it's gotta be a pun of get in. I don't know. I think it's gonna be Gina or Gina. Gina? Hang on. I'm gonna say Gina. Yeah, let's just say Gina. I feel like I've heard Gina, but not Gina before. Yeah, we're gonna say Gina Lestrade. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, leaving people of their purse. A chancer? Oh, a pickpocket, yeah. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here? A petty thief? Well, I guess that would make sense why she was in the seats. Order! Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Speak, dang you! Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. She's got a gun! Ah! How dare you? What is the meaning of this? And she ran off. Ah! The girl! She's gone! Open your eyes! Oh, she's over there. I'm over here. Good gracious, how... What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself back into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on. That's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth and not cast... Ah! She stink bombed me. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. I like this music. This is cool. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this was in the bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheeled drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Oh! Do not wave that thing in my direction again. So... You admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question? Tis alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina... Did I say? Yeah, Gina. Yeah. This girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness to this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You'll tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. What the girl saw. Alright guys, I'm gonna leave the episode there for today. We're coming up on 30 minutes. And this seems like a perfect place to stop. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next time we will hear what this girl has to say. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye!